Hey, hello again. I'm at Fisherman's Terminal near Ballard in Seattle. I'm out with plein air Washington artists for a little paint out. Beautiful day, a little bit warm, a little bit humid, but nice and calm, not too hot. There's some beautiful big ships here. Looking forward to getting set up and doing a painting or two.
Well, what I would do.
I don't know, maybe wait an hour and knock on his door and see if he's in there.
Well, there are just so many beautiful boats, so many beautiful potential paintings here. It's going to be hard as usual to decide. I think since there's no lack of beautiful boats to choose from, I think I'll pick something that will stand out nicely against the cool greens and grays of this location of the Pacific Northwest in general. This watery, salty, wet, blue-gray harmony that we have here. Lots of places to set up, lots of places to stand. So I'm thinking a white boat or a boat with some black or some red would stand out nicely against the blues and greens. Even these old buildings, old docks. To come back here, there's lots of potential famous Seattle Argosy cruises. Heading out for a little Lake Union tour, it looks like. Seaplane. Watch your step here, lots of goose poop or seagull poop, not sure what. That's a beautiful scene there, isn't it? Look at that. That might call for a larger panel. And this weld ship is called the Orca 2. Quite the striking color. Black and red with some cool indigenous art. Alright, well, I walked all around this really beautiful, interesting place. There's just a ton of scenes. I could come back here and paint 100 paintings, I think, just based on what I'm seeing today. Really convenient to park, beautiful place, lots of places to stand. So I think I'm going to enjoy this, and I think I'm going to be coming back. Here's the scene I'm going to paint. I'm not sure how many I'm going to do today. I'm going to go with a little larger panel and paint this little scene here. I'm going to kind of zoom in and catch the top of the ship mast and put that ship mast right on one of the 1/3 lines. I'll zoom in just a little bit more, catch most of that building, which is the Seattle Ship Supply. I think that will be kind of neat to add. I'll add that block lettered sign on that old dilapidated building so that the whole scene isn't just blues and grays. That building is kind of a gray tan, which I think will be a nice warm point in the painting. And this little ship has a little rowboat beside it, which is kind of interesting. I think I'll include that as well. It's in kind of this protected harbor area, so I think the water will stay nice and calm most of the day, so I can paint at least some of the reflection. Alright, I'm going to go with a 12 by 16 inch panel. There's a little bit of road noise because the bridge is right behind me. There's some helicopters and some float planes flying overhead all the time, so I apologize for the noise now. This is a 12 by 16, going a little bit larger since it's such a nice day. I've got lots of time. I think the light's going to be pretty consistent since it's overcast. It's September, so the sun's getting lower on the horizon, which actually helps. It means a little more consistent light, even though the days are a bit shorter. Another float plane overhead. So I've got my 12 by 16 panel. This is a birch panel that I just sewed myself. It's got 3 coats of acrylic and 1 coat of alkyd. That final coat, top coat of alkyd, gives it a nice, slick, well-primed working surface I really like. I've got my 1/3 lines sketched on in charcoal just to help me get the composition. Now this is definitely a drawing project. I need to get the drawing right in this painting. So I'm going to take a little time. I'll probably lay in a quick wash without erasing the 1/3 lines. I think I'll do a yellow ochre with a touch of burnt sienna wash today, just to lay in the underlying color. And then I'll take some of that mixture and set it to the side, and wherever I can I'm going to add that yellow ochre and burnt sienna color to any mix I create, which will help me with the harmony. I don't think I need any phthalo blue. I need a little sap green, some transparent oxide brown. I think some of my high key Gamblin Radiant Lemon, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue. You know, I'm going to try to work with as few colors as I can today. And this scene has so many somber grays in it, with the white, a little bit of intense yellow, where this life ring, if I include that little plastic life ring container, it's the same thing as this. That might be interesting to add to give me a hint of color. There's some red buoys hanging there too. I might bump up their intensity just to make them pop a little bit and give the scene some red as well. There's a red life ring as well. I don't know if you can see, but way over there there's a gentleman in a green shirt painting with gouache. His name is Steve. He's another plein air Washington artist. There's a few of us out here today. Got my artist turpentine here, got a little bit of liquid in here. I'll switch to Gamsol as soon as I'm done with the initial turpentine wash. Get some titanium white. I'm gonna lay out more than I think I'll need, so I don't have to get back into it and get more out later. I smell some roasting coffee coming from somewhere. It smells good. Ivory black. I'm using this little Stay Wet paint container I got on Amazon. Works pretty nicely. I can put my leftover clean paint in here when I'm done, and I can throw the whole thing in the freezer at home when I'm not using it, and the paint stays nice and wet. Cold gray, cerulean blue. I don't think I'll need phthalo or cobalt. Definitely will need some alizarin, or some ultramarine. Sap green, transparent oxide brown, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, cad red medium, cad yellow, just a bit of this Windsor lemon, and also the Gamblin Radiant lemon. Same yellow, this just has more white. I don't really need to set them both out, but it's a nice shortcut. Yellow ochre. Alright, so I'll start with that yellow ochre and burnt sienna wash, and then I will draw with a small brush. I'll draw the scene. Try to get that into good shape where I like it on my panel. I'm going to have to edit some things. I'm going to edit out a lot of this background noise. I'm going to edit out that light pole and really simplify the background wherever I can. Using my trusty old Utrecht bristle brush, nice wide old broken in brush, about an inch wide. I'm also going to wash in a little bit of ultramarine blue for the sky and for the reflection of the sky in the water. Just hit that now. These are some kind of indistinct bluish buildings in the background. I'm going to go ahead and map those in. I'm also going to use this ultramarine to suggest the roof of that Seattle Ship Supply building. Roughly sketch it in. Look at this squeegee out. And help me with some of these straight lines. There's a nice grayish green edge of the dock leading to the boat as well. I'm going to put that in. I don't know why, but my camera keeps shutting down. Maybe it's getting a little too hot in the sun. Now in reality, from my viewpoint, the top of the helm is meeting the corner of the building almost exactly. I'm going to change that just a little. I don't like that tangency, so I'm going to bring the top of the boat, top of the helm to about here. Now, all these lines for the boat should be on the same parallel as this dock, not this parallel. Okay, now I'll take this little ivory long flat, Rosemary & Co., and start to sketch the boat. Use a little bit of transparent oxide brown for this sketch, and then once I'm done with the sketch, I'll go back with a little bit of turpentine and wipe away the lightest lights. Alright, I've got the turpentine wash and pretty strong value pattern in now. Spent quite a bit of time on the drawing, trying to get the drawing right, trying to get the feel right. I think I've got the ship a little too foreshortened. I tried to move the back of the boat back further. I think the problem lies in that it's maybe too tall, bumping up the prow of the helm. The pilot's cockpit, bumping that up, I think has kind of thrown off the symmetry of the painting. So I think as I put in the final colors, I'll squish the boat just a little bit. I'll shrink it by bringing the water level up from below. I'll have to bring that little rowboat up as well. Stepping back is really beneficial. I'll put away the artist turpentine now and get out the cam saw, open up my liquid. So now I'll start to mix up the colors. I'll start with the sky and just work down and work forward. Pretty muted colors today, so I'm going to use a lot of ivory black and a lot of cold gray, cerulean blue in my mixes to tone them down, to save the pure chroma, the really bright colors for those last final accents, the little buoys, little doodads on the boat, the life ring. Alright, I'm going to mix up a little bit of pure blue, pretty clean blue, high value for where the sky is showing through the clouds. I'll use a little bit of ultramarine blue and a little bit of cerulean blue. And then I'll also have a lot of clouds in the sky. I'm going to use just a touch of that harmony color that I mixed earlier, the yellow ochre and the burnt sienna, with some alizarin crimson and the same blue I mix up for the sky, and a lot of white to create those clouds. Okay, I have a few colors mixed up now. Got that pure blue for the sky where it's showing through the clouds. I've got a cloud shadow color and cloud highlight color. These are mixed up from that same blue with a little bit of my harmony yellow ochre, burnt sienna color. Here I've got some colors for the building, the roof, a bluish yellow and a reddish yellow, very grayed down for the face of the building in the shade. Here I've got some green, dark green for the background trees, not fully dark. It's still a step or two, it's still a value or two above pure black. And a highlight on the tree or for the yellower trees in the background. And these are for the background buildings, building behind the boat, in the sun, in the shade, and then the trim, kind of the deep steel blue. So I'll take a big brush and just map those in. Now here with the sky, I'm not really following exactly what I see. The clouds are constantly changing. Here I'm just trying to create an interesting value pattern, and I'm also trying to put the most interesting shapes toward the center of interest, which is that boat. So I'm bumping up the intensity, the white, and adding just a little bit of that yellow ochre burnt sienna mix to the clouds to warm them up, and that really gives them a feel of volume. More colors mixed up now. I've got some dark browns and greens for the docks. The side of the dock is kind of a nice green, and then the depths of the shadows, I've got a bluish and a reddish deep shadow. I've got the green trim for the boat. I may need to add just a little bit of cerulean blue that points to that, especially as it turns into the sun. And I've got a lavender shadow, a little warmer yellow shadow, and then some lights for this is for the little boat, the little rowboat. And then for the big boat, I've got a pretty vibrant lavender shadow for the back of the boat, and for where the boat is turning into shadow, a little lighter version of that as it's curving around. I've got this one just with a little bit of my harmony color mixed in, and then the lightest light is a white with my harmony color, just a touch of my harmony color mixed in. So I'll map those in, and then I'll take a step back and see what I need to adjust. Wherever I need a gray, I can borrow some grays that I already mixed. I also mixed up some additional sky colors for the water. As the water comes toward me, it has a lot of the reflected blue of the sky and the reflected clouds, so I mixed up just a little bit more of that so I can map that in. For the rest of the sky reflection, I'll just use these colors that I already mixed up, kind of blend them and dull them down just a little bit so they're not quite so vibrant. step back and I noticed that the drawing is still a little wrong. So I scraped off this edge, scraped off this window, scraped off this edge. I'm going to adjust it. I'm thinking I may need to scrape this as well. So I just take one of my smaller palette knives with a nice edge and remove the paint. And while it's still wet, you can just redraw as you need to. That's already looking a little better. So I want to maybe lift the bottom of the boat a little bit more. Same thing on the back side. Move the corner of the boat back just a little bit more. Yeah, that's already feeling better. If I bring the highlight here as well to this corner, that really brings that tail of the boat out toward us. I like that. Let me trim this just a little bit as well. Okay, I'm gonna correct that. Do this little boat, do the water, and then I'll be done here. Here's the finished painting. That was fun. Had a good time. I think I was pretty successful in simplifying the scene. When I step back from it, it reads well. Got some cleaning up to do. Not quite happy with this tail end of the boat. I think it needs to be cleaned up. The little rowboat, need to clean up the edge, finish the lettering and the sign. Maybe touch up the sky in here. This looks a little too vibrant. But I'm happy I was able to keep it really loose, really fast. The light's been changing constantly as I've been here. Broken clouds, so it keeps going to shade and then really bright sun. And the light on the buildings changed a lot as the sun has traveled overhead. So time to wrap up. I chased the drawing quite a bit on this one, but I think I'm pretty close. I'll take it back to the studio and adjust it a little bit, put it out on my website. As always, thanks so much for joining me. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe.